figure I better fill you in on what's going on. I was walking in here and I jumped up the one buck that I was after. I was like 10 yards from where he was bedded. And he jumped up and he just kind of trotted off like he wasn't really spooked. So as soon as he left, I kind of just followed him real slow. And I got set up in the original tree that I was planning on. And I'm just 2 sticks high. I climbed up here. It's a super awkward tree the way it's leaning. I didn't realize it was leaning like this. So I got up here and I just kind of halfway put my tether. It's kind of low. And about the time I got my tether hooked up, I hear something weird over here, like a coughing, sneezing sound. And I look up and here comes that buck coming right down this trail where I kind of planned on him to walk. And he comes in and he beds down 40 yards away. So I'm watching him. He stands up. I'm thinking he's going to walk up here, and he lays back down. And then he gets up and he's walking right to me. So I draw back and I'm leaned out away from this tree, really weird. And just as he enters my shooting lane, he's quartering toward me, and then he just beds down again. So I let down, and I'm still just hanging there, like super awkward. And he's bedded 30 yards away. Luckily, there's a little bit of brush between me and him. It was just his rack sticking up. So he laid there, and I tried to make myself a little more comfortable, but it was like doing a full body exercise, trying to hold myself up against this tree, hanging away from the tree just in case he stood up. So he leans his head back to lick himself, and he gets his rack tangled up in a little briar, and it got stuck on his horn, and he was shaking his head trying to get it off, and that made him stand up. And as soon as he stood up, I drew, and he was quartering toward me pretty hard. And I thought, well, I'm going to put it, he's within 30 yards, and I'm crack shot at 30 yards easy. So I put the pin tight to his shoulder, and I did not squeeze that shot off at all. I punched it so hard. And I hit him, I think I hit him behind the shoulder, and it angled back in. And as he didn't run, he just kind of like hunched up and started out through there. When I was looking at him with the binos, I could see his guts hanging out way back. But my initial impression was I hit him tight to the shoulder, perfect up and down, and it just angled back through and exited low. Came in, he bedded right at the tip of my finger, and he walked down, and he bedded right there, and that's where I shot him. That was right there. And the last time I saw him, he was right there. It's super warm. If I let him go overnight, he's surely going to spoil. But if I try to get up there close to him, he's probably going to bust out of here, and I'm never going to find him. This is just a nasty thicket in here. Man, I'm just so mad at myself for making a shot like that. I should have just waited. Just one of them things, he's right there, and more often than not things go wrong and they get away. But honestly, I'd rather him get away than me make a bad shot on him, which I did. So can't call the arrow back now. So we're gonna have to make a plan and get him. Well guys, I shot that buck last night and I did not know what to do. Rain in the forecast, warm, but I knew I hit this buck really bad, and I decided just to play it safe and let him go. So I came in here, I got here at daylight. I looked at the initial bed where I thought he bedded down, nothing. This time it's pouring the rain down, there's no sign to go by it. This is just a sea of brush in here. So I'm just walking along these logging roads, peeking down into these holes and beds that I could find. It was pouring the rain down. I was just about ready to give up because this is literally a 50-acre section of just the nastiest stuff you can imagine. I was just walking up this logging road. I happened to look down and here lays this buck. I found him. You have no idea how thankful I am to find this buck. I really did not think I was going to find him. Just can't believe it. I'm hoping the meat's still good. He's got flies all over him. I mean, he's a pretty buck. Well guys, there he is. October 10th, early season buck. Saw this buck the first day of season. I'd scouted this bedding area out this spring and put a plan together on how to access it with the wind and everything, and this was one of several bucks using this area. And saw him the first day, nearly got a shot at him, watched him get up out of his bed 30-40 yards from me. Come back in again, saw another buck, nearly got a shot at him. So last night was the third night that I came in here, and I aimed in front of his shoulder, was gonna put it down through him, and I punched the trigger super bad. And you can actually see the entry hole. It's perfect, but it came out way back here. So I probably got one lung, liver, and definitely the guts. So I watched him kind of hunch up and walk off. And I watched him for a good 15 minutes, and I thought that he bedded down. So I opted just to back out. It's so thick in here, if you jump them, there's just no way you're gonna find him. So I made the decision to back out, even with rain in the forecast. I knew it was gonna be bad either way. But come back in here this morning and I got him. I can't believe it. I'm so thankful that I found him. I just hope that some of his meat's still good, because that's really what I need. I mean, he's a nice buck and all, but it's going to be a shame if I lose any meat off of him. But it was in the 60s last night, so I'm going to get him back to the house and get him cleaned up. Definitely wasn't a perfect ending, but I got a pretty nice early season buck on the ground.